Hello there, humans. How are you all doing? Today is one of those Mondays where everyone is just going to be a human to me. I usually call my niece and nephews my humans, but today y'all are all my humans because I am feeling a lot of love. And I must feel a lot of love because I'm going to go hard on you today. I'm going to get tough. I'm going to go and tell you the truth because here's what I know. If I don't tell you the truth, then you stay stuck in the same patterns and you don't create different results. And I don't want that for you. I want new results for you. You have to do something different to get different results. Isn't that true? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different. We're not insane here. We're building towards financial confidence. So we're going to have the hard conversation. We're going to talk about the things that no one wants to talk about, but that's exactly why we create the results that we do. All right. My name is Christian David. I'm your life and money coach, and I teach high earners how to build financial confidence. And we do that through two major principles that I teach my clients: taking full responsibility of your results in life and taking yourself seriously enough to know that your dreams matter. What you want matters. It really does. It's not far-fetched that you have this amazing idea of what you want to create. It's not an unrealistic dream. It's real. You deserve it. Otherwise, you wouldn't have thought of it. Your next door neighbor didn't think of it. No, you thought of it. So it's yours. Now we need you to go claim it. And the only way you do that is when you take full responsibility and start to take yourself seriously. Treat yourself seriously. And so I've been doing this series showing you exactly how that shows up in your life. How the fact that you're not taking yourself seriously, you're not taking full responsibility for your life, is impacting how you navigate your finances. And so today I want to bring it to a close where I'm going to walk you through step by step how to use the sequence. This is what I talked about last week on the second installment of this series. So if you haven't watched the first two calls that we had, I want you to go to Greenwood Legacy page on Facebook and watch let me pull up the titles because I think that I named them a little differently. So you want to watch the first video, which is entitled From Out of Control to Financially Confident, the shift most women miss. And this would be, you don't have a money problem, you have an awareness problem. So that's number one. Number two that we did right after that, a couple of days later, was the same title of the series, From Out of Control to Financially Confident, the shift most women miss. And this one was about why you keep getting stuck even when you do know what to do. Okay. And so today we're going to bring it home by putting all of the ownership of your results into your hands. And so today we're going to talk about how to take control of your finances without changing your income. And I really want to emphasize the part about not changing your income because this is where you really understand the value of 100% responsibility. All of you all are thinking you need more money so that you can feel better. But I want to tell you something very bluntly, not harshly, with so much love. It's not the money that's going to make a difference. And you know how I know that? You had more money. You have more money. You just haven't used it well. Let's look back at the year 2025. What does your tax return say you made last year? Look at that number. Now I'm going to look at your banking history. What is your actual saving rate for the year 2025? If you know your saving rate, do you still have those savings in the account? Were you able to save any money in 2025? Did you put away any money for retirement? All of that will be included in your saving rate. Now I want you to count that separately from any investment that you made. If you invested money, I want you to count that separately. Saving, I want you to categorize that as just regular savings. So if you have a high yield savings account, if you have an emergency savings account, you're saving towards a vacation savings account, any type of savings account that you created last year, I want you to calculate all of the savings that you made last year, even if you used it. Let's say you did save it in 2025. I want you to calculate all of those savings And then find out what is the saving rate compared to your income from last year. And then also investment. So I want you to do two categories: savings and investment. What do you come up with? Now, if the answer is 0, and that's not uncommon, I want you to recognize the money is not the problem. If you had made whatever you made last year, and you look back and you can't find any savings that you created, know that the problem is way past the money, because you made money. You just didn't use it well. And the only reason you didn't use it well is not because you don't know how to. It's because you have not caught up to the amount of money that you do make. You know how to create money, you just don't know how to use it well, because your identity has to catch up to the amount of income that you create. It doesn't just happen naturally, my friend. You are not using money well, not because you don't know how to. Again, you know. I had a woman the other day tell me she spends frivolously. So you are aware that you do spend frivolously. You do know, if that's your case. You know what you're doing with your money. The only difference here is you're not managing your mind to direct it to do what you want to do to achieve your goals. If your goals last year were to get out of debt and you don't have any savings and you still have the same amount of debt as last year or maybe more, it's not because you didn't make enough money. No, my friend. It's because you didn't know how to train your brain to take action and to follow through, so that you can actually, at the end of the year, do the calculation and look at what I've done here. And that's what's missing. And this is why 100% responsibility is so important, because you've got to take ownership of your results. You cannot blame your results on the economy. Gas is almost $5 here on this side of the world. I don't know what's happening in different sides. I have a friend who was telling me that gas was $6 on the East Coast. But on this side, the Midwest is still almost $5. I can't use that as the reason why I'm not saving money. That's not how it works, because there's always money to be saved. It's a matter of the perspective you have on the money that you're creating. It's the matter of having priorities and respecting those priorities. And you're going to tell me all of the reasons why that's not possible, and I'm going to show you exactly what that's possible. I use an amazing tool called the Easy Saving System to teach my clients how to save. And no matter how much income my clients make, I have clients who are 6-figure earners and clients who are less than that, and they all save money using the Easy Saving System. It doesn't matter how much money you make, you can always save money. So that's the number one thing I want you to know. You don't need more money to feel in control, my friend. No. That is a different way of thinking. You need to start leading your mind. Your mind is your most powerful asset. It's the thing that gets you to do the things you want to do to achieve your goals. It's not motivation. Motivation fades. You've got to be able to generate the right emotions to move you to actions. And if you're not able to do that, it's not because you can't, it's because you just don't know how. Which is exactly what I work with my clients on every single day. As a matter of fact, this month in Money Academy, my membership, we are going over evaluation. We're doing a full financial debrief to understand where we are at right now, how we created that, where we want to go, and how we're going to bridge that gap. If you don't do this kind of stop in the middle of the road to assess where you're at, what's happening, where you're going, you're not noticing how your brain is leading you towards the same cycle of the repeated old patterns. You're not noticing how you're just spending frivolously and letting yourself spend frivolously, even though that's not what you want. I know that's not what you want, because now you look back, the things you spend money on, they lost their value, right? Because the things you buy all the time to spend frivolously, they don't appreciate, they depreciate every single time. It's assets that increase their worth in value, and you're not purposeful in your choices. Again, not because you're incapable, because you are a very accomplished woman. I know this for a fact, right? But the part when it comes to your money, that's where your brain goes free range, and you just let it, because you don't know that you actually are responsible for what your brain does and how you think. So being 100% responsible requires that you wake up and realize, I create my results. Do I like the results that I have right now? No. Okay, now I need to know how to create the results that I want. How do I show up in my life that I create results that I want, that I'm proud of, that I can look back at the end of 2026 and say, I made this much revenue, I made this much income, and my saving rate is 25%, is 20%, is 15%. Whatever amount you want is 2%. If you didn't have any savings from last year and you have 2% this year, that's incredible. Listen, think about getting a 2% raise. That's amazing. So that's the same thing. You're not taking yourself seriously enough to know, wait, hold on. I have desires. I have goals. These are the priority. I harness the energy that I have to make these move. And everything else comes second. But what I see is you know you have these dreams, yet you don't believe in them because you don't take yourself seriously. And so when it's time to make a decision to take action, you never choose yourself. You never choose yourself. I was talking to a multi-million-dollar owner the other day, and every single choice she's made along the way, she never chose herself. And if you don't choose yourself decision after decision after decision, the end result is your goals don't get touched. Your desires are non-existent. You don't matter. Yet money is being spent. And you tell yourself you need more money. Your brain wants you to believe that because that distracts you from the work that you actually need to do. And you do know that is not the more money because you had more money. You had the money. You got the raise last year. You got the business growth. You got you started selling. You got making money, right? You had the moment where you were like, dang, I'm making way more money than I've ever had. Yet right now, there's nothing to show for it. You have more debt than you had before. And I want you to wake up and realize, wait, I am responsible for that. It's nothing to do with a surprise from the IRS or by now, a lot of people already have either their returns or they know how much they owe. It has nothing to do with that. It's all to do with what's happening inside of your brain, what you're telling yourself. And every time you believe yourself saying you need more money, you're hustling and working harder, and your mental state is in the trash can. And every time that happens, you're just creating more complications on your way to financial confidence. You're going the opposite direction. Because a financially confident woman, she talks to herself very powerfully. I take ownership of the thoughts that create my results. Last conversation we had, the last call we had, I walked you through the sequence. What you think about generates your emotions drive your actions create your result. That's inside of your brain. That's you. That's your mechanism as a human being that you can take advantage to create better results for you. So your work is not in controlling the economy or controlling the outcomes. Your work is in controlling how you think because every single thought your brain offers you is an option. So telling yourself that you need more money is an option. Believing that you need more money creates suffering for you, emotional suffering, which leads you to take actions that put you second place, last place on the line of priorities. So why do you want to keep believing a thought that creates more suffering for you? Versus if you knew that you believe I take ownership of the thoughts that create my results, then you will be very intentional about what you think about. You will seek help to manage your money, the money you have now, so that when you know it's going to increase because it will, then you will have the foundation, the structure required to grow your capacity, your belief in yourself, your identity to match the revenue that you're creating. You will get the support because you're like, no, my goals matter. What I want matter. If I want to retire in luxury, I start working on it now. I get the help now. I work with women who are in their 60s and 70s, and they're not thinking I'm too old to think about retirement. I'm too old to change the way I think to create better results for me. They're not thinking that. That's why they're working with me because they know working with me requires a change, complete change of identity. And they're doing the work. They're showing up for the calls. They're showing up for the support. They're present in their lives. They're not thinking I'm living in the third quarter of my life. I don't have any more opportunities. No. They're like, I have great opportunities. I'm here. I'm doing the work. I'm present. And so this is your call, my friend. This is your opportunity to decide how you respond, how you show up. This is completely on you. It is not left to the economy because gas prices will probably go down. How do you navigate every time you wake up every morning, the all of the barrage of information that is being thrown at you, how you navigate that is completely up to you. And that's what I call 100% responsibility. You taking ownership of every single result you create. Because when I say that, your brain wants to go to, but I can't. No. I want you to flip that and say, what am I in control of? You're in control of what you think. You're in control of what you feel. You're in control of what you do, how you show up in the world. You are in control of the story you tell yourself about where you are right now financially. You get to decide what you believe about where you are right now financially. All right, my friend. The next thing I want you to think about is the fact that you don't take yourself seriously enough. That's an epidemic we see with women. And I want you to think about how you can be the difference in this society. I want you to think about how you can set yourself apart from all the women that think that putting everyone else's first ahead of them is what really makes the needle move, because women have been doing that for ages and nothing is moving. But when a woman takes herself seriously enough to know that she takes ownership and to actually achieve her goals, she has to be the one to do the work. She has to direct her brain to make choices that would lead her to the results she's creating. When a woman takes herself seriously enough to understand that formula, she goes to work. So in the morning, she asks herself, what do I want? Who do I want to be today? And she answers. She decides what she thinks on purpose. She decides what she feels on purpose. And she decides on the aligned actions to match all of that so that she can create the result. So she said, what do I want today? Who do I want to be? And then she'll direct her brain there. That's your power. So I told you that when I was promoting this event, I told you that this conversation is going to be about it's a little bit of what happened between me and a multi-million-dollar owner. We had a conversation about where she's at, and the difficulty she's in right now and what she wants to create in the future, right? But the whole time you could tell that she doesn't think she is the main asset in the whole conversation. And if she doesn't think she's the main asset is the one that gets all the attention. And when the main asset is taken care of, everyone else underneath the main asset gets better care. But what women have backwards, they have this completely opposite. They take care of everyone, and then there's nothing left for them because they didn't realize that not everyone is not the main asset. It can't be, because what you're doing for people, it doesn't come back to you. It's just draining you because you're serving them from an empty cup. You're below, you're at the bottom of the line. You have nothing to offer, and you're serving everyone that's on top of you. So you're depleted to even look at yourself. That's exactly where she was finding herself. Doing all of the things for everyone else and forgetting herself. And she was not happy with her results. You make millions of dollars and you got nothing to show for it because you spent it all on everybody else. That generosity isn't coming from your heart. It's coming from obligation. It creates more suffering. Because when you put yourself first, when it's time to manage your money, you understand that if your goals are not achieved, then everyone else besides you, next to you, suffers. But when you are on the train of self-accomplishment and financial confidence, everyone besides you, around you, thrives because you're thriving. And that is what's missed in how you're navigating your finances. So you're not just a passing observer of your life. You've got to wake up and be present in it and allow all of it, right? It comes, and then how you navigate it is showing how much power you take up, you own. It's not like life happens to you. It's happening, and then you navigate it with power so that it's happening for you. So what you think about determines what you create in the world. So when you look at your finances, I want you to determine, do you like the results you have right now? And if you don't like what's happening with your finances, it's not about changing what's coming in. It's about changing how we're operating from the inside. Because you're not just an observer of your life. You're in it. You're a participant. So what is your contribution inside of your own life? And this is not about being fearless. Because the financially confident woman, she's not trying to be fearless. She's very well aware of the risk. Getting help to manage your money, there's a risk there. There's a risk that you're wrong, that all this thing that you've been doing all this time, you were wrong all along, because you're going to have to change your ways to manage money to create different results. There's a risk there. Your brain doesn't want to be wrong. There's a risk of you investing the funds. You don't have the results yet, but you're going to trust yourself that you're going to show up. That's a risk. Investing is risky. Yet the financially confident woman, she shows up. She invests. She takes the risk. That's because she knows that she's leading herself. And you start that before you get the results you want. Another woman told me she's worried that this might take a while. And I've been thinking about this for a lot lately, because I've been thinking about my own situation, about getting results that I want. How long am I willing to go and how long am I willing to go to get the result that I want? When am I going to say, now I'm done? I've put in enough time and it's not coming in. I'm done. Because I consider myself someone who's not addicted to instant gratification, right? I know that about myself. But how long am I willing to keep going? Right? Because if I say halfway through that, oh, I've lasted longer than most people, but I still want to quit now, that's still the desire for instant gratification. You may have more endurance than the person next to you, but it doesn't mean that you were actually fully committed. And so I've had that conversation with myself a lot, noticing how it's really fascinating to watch how the thoughts you choose to think about is what this determines how you show up. And so you got to think about that. How long are you willing to keep going to get the results you want? And the only way you stick with a plan and you stick with a purpose is when you have a powerful vision, which is an exercise a lot of women don't do. You never sit down to decide what you really want. And when you do think about what you want, you're like, it's too big. That's not possible. You totally undermine yourself and your desires. I want you to sit with, what do I want? And really let that be there and get excited about it. Because that's that excitement that gets you to commit to the work. And then all of a sudden you're not saying, oh, I think it's going to take too long. Who cares? You're never going to be mad that by the time you retire, you're retiring $5, $6, $7 million because you kept going. You never quit. You were telling yourself, oh, I don't think I need more money. But in reality, when you finally figured out that managing money is the thing, that managing your mind is the thing that changes the game. You went and did that. The same effort that you put in to create the $2 million business, you put in the same effort, you created a $4 million business because you managed your mind. You directed your brain to where you wanted to go. So a financially confident woman is not fearless. She's aware. She understands the value of holding the fear and the courage at the same time. And she leads herself anyway, no matter how she's feeling. Not because she discounts her emotions. Oh, she uses her emotions. That's actually what's fueling her taking actions. And this is the kind of conversation I'm going to have in my masterclass that I'm having, How to Spend Your Money Guilt-Free. And the link to join or to register for the class is in the comments. I want to see you there live, because this is the kind of energy we're bringing to that conversation, and we're creating results. The women that have been in that class, they've told me they've come away knowing exactly what it takes for them to achieve their goals. And that's what I want for you today. This year, when you look back at the end of this year, you're going to say, I have a higher saving rate than 2025 because I was present in my life. Because I went to the masterclass, I attended a masterclass, how to spend your money guilt free, and I learned the skills that I needed to implement to lead my money better, to lead myself better. All right, my friend, this has been an incredible series. I loved it. And I want to tell you, if you want to catch up so that you can understand what I'm talking about in today's call, even though I broke it down really simply here, but if you want to catch up on all of the mindset work you need to do, all of how you show up in your life, and that's how much power you have, I want you to go back to the last two calls that we've had, the two previous calls, and you'll be able to be on the same page with everyone. Have an incredible rest of your night. Goodbye.